welcome. Let's kick off with peak data. Yes. How are you doing today,
Oh.
sir? You're well. Just so everyone else knows, where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Lithuania, actually.
Okay, so we're gonna kick our journey as people know, the Hyper Accelerator program now operates in over 50 countries around the world, including Lithuania. So great to have you here. What we're gonna do, we're gonna just kick it off. I will introduce myself, okay? And you can pitch your idea. I'm hitting the top of the elevator for those of you that are watching this with video, and I'll get started. Are you ready, sir?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's get going. Good morning. My name is Singh. I am part of the former Lithuanian royal family, and I'm looking to make some investments in startups, and I heard about what you're working on. Tell me, sir, what you're working on. Go ahead.
Hello, Ash. Thank you for your time. Yes. Right now, the Big Data is developing software components for APIs to help SaaS companies to build advanced analytical services and data APIs. Actually, and these components can be easily embedded into their solutions and websites to provide the access to the data they have to their customers, partners, and employees. Right now, many companies face the challenge to provide the data because the number of the data is rapidly growing. No chances it gets reduced. The number of technologies actually to use to store this data is also evolving, and the customers are becoming more advanced and more smart. And they need more flexible access to the data actually in various forms just to understand what's going on with their campaigns, with their products, and so on. And to create such access, the companies spend a lot of monies and time, and sometimes they do not, and it's very sad, because then the customers and partners just need to see the pre-built several dashboards and reports. We actually cannot, that is not flexible enough. And big data works as an intermediate layer in between of a data consumer and data sources actually in the company. And despite the fact the data can be stored in different technologies, big data is able to transform the request of the customer and find the proper solution to the proper database, proper technology to get the data back to the customer. Using such approach is actually gives very flexible way to share the data with the customers, with the partners, and of course inside the development teams. As big data provides the pre-built components to embed such technology into a system, it's not a matter of the months, it's a matter of the weeks or even days. And this type of approach also allows to standardize all the data models stored inside the enterprises. So it's also helping in data governance area. It is intermediate layer. It's easy to understand how the data in companies are used and who does that.
Understood. So what do you need help with? Tell me a little bit about what do you need help? How can I help you?
Well, first of all, as you mentioned before, we are incorporated in the Lithuania. Keeping in mind that there are up to maybe more than 30,000 SaaS companies, and more than half of it stays in the United States. We need actually being somewhere in the Silicon Valley actually to present our technology properly.
Got it.
As it is very technological and software component, it's pretty hard to sell for the business people. So we need a very smart business team of business developers and sales. So that's why we are looking for the funds actually to scale to the States, to scale our sales team.
Understood. Okay, thank you very much. Let's get some feedback on the platform itself. For those of you that are in the chat, always great to get some feedback in. Let's jump in and get some of the thought process in, right? Now, when I think about what you're doing, because what I want to be able to do is as part of this journey, I always try to give the thought process that's going through my mind, right? With regards to how an investor might think, right? How a Silicon Valley, investor might think. But I'm also thinking about it from a customer perspective, and I kind of want to zero in on what you're doing, right? And so when we think about SaaS businesses, right? So I'm going to try to replay, okay? And I want you to tell me if I got it right. There's, tons of SaaS businesses out there that build a SaaS product that does what it needs to get done. However, where they fall flat is that they're unable to provide the right dashboards with the right information, the right data, and the right insights that you talked a little bit about APIs and data, right? Being able to hook onto the data, as well as being able to access the right information at the right time, so as to enrich their customers' experience and help drive and improve things like lifetime value. Is that correct?
It is correct. In addition to what you say, Ash, the users, because reports are created or dashboards are created, however, we are representing someone's view to the data, and this view is pushed to the customers. And it means that customers would like to browse the data and create their insights, experiment with the data, but they are locked inside the pre-built dashboards.
Exactly.
And what big data does, we give the flexibility to query the data to the customer. Is it about the data APIs? Is it about the visual tools? The customer or machines can easily ask and put as many questions about the data as they can. For example, questions could be represented by dimensions or metrics to the data.
Sure.
And companies usually, and SaaS companies usually, they log themselves. They provide the list of the maybe 10, maybe 20 reports, and that's it. But the flexibility is lost in this case.
Got it. So typically, let's think about one of the bigger SaaS companies like Stripe, right? Everyone uses Stripe for data. When you actually go on the dashboard, it's very specific what information you can get, right? There's no customized elements in place. And what you're saying is not only can you extend the dashboard, allow access to the API and give a little bit more flexibility, but the user themselves can actually create their customized dashboard as well, correct?
Indeed. And by using this approach, actually, the companies who serve such type of platform, they can collecting information about what questions users ask about their data. And it gives valuable insights actually for the data analytics to create even more dashboards or reports, or or provide additional data or additional dimensions.
So my question, and again, I'm just sharing with you. So I understand the components of what you're doing, and it makes a lot of sense. I guess I have two questions. The first question is by allowing this to happen, how does this change outcomes with your customers? How does it lower churn? How does it increase lifetime value? How does it increase the opportunity to upsell a different tier of products for them to have access to their own API? Tell me about the value proposition, right? You do all this stuff and it sounds amazing. How much does it help, or how much do you hope that it will help?
Well, our technology helps, first of all, to find the answers and to get the access to the data for advanced users. Right. So because maybe up to 80% of the users are okay with using the dashboards, but we served another 20% of the users or the other customers who would like to get more deeply into the data.
Got it.
And if we talk about the problem and proposition of the big data is giving this technology to be embedded into the system, and let's say SaaS platform owners can work with this and provide this provide this service for these advanced users rather than losing them. Because right now the development and data, all the analytics, as you know, is very expensive. So what if you share your data and get the insights of how this data can be used from the community? But how to do that?
Yeah. So my question is what is the big picture around this? You know, you're looking for funding. You want to go to the Silicon Valley. Tell me a little bit about where the evolution of peak data is going to be, because the way I see it, if I may, right, I'm just going to share my limited knowledge and limited thought process on where I see your process going. There's kind of phases in terms of where the world is moving. Currently, you have SaaS companies that are building their own limited dashboard. Then we have platforms like Peak Data that are going to help improve the dashboards, allow people to get access via API to more information, allow them to have their own customizable inputs, okay? But I feel like the next phase around this is going to be some sort of conversational platform that maybe you create that allows people, when they're looking at the data, to communicate maybe via voice to drive more insights. And there is a machine learning AI-powered thought process around this where, you know, they can state a problem, right? You know what I mean? When you think about, when I think about data, right? And again, I'm not a PhD in data science, but for me, my thought process is always, how do you kind of, a lot of people don't like to just look at data all day. Some of us do. I like doing that, but not many people like to look at data all day. And so when I think about what you're doing, and the feedback points, I feel like it's important to be able to be in a situation where we talk about what the future is going to hold. What is the future around this?
And if I may ask answer to this, so we would like to achieve the state when the big data is the most easy and rich framework for the companies and people to use to query the data programmatically or using the visual tools and get the access to the data about the past, present, and of course the future. And when we talk about the past, so it's about classical data stored in classical relational databases. When we talk about the present, it's about the real-time streaming systems. And when we talk about the future, it's of course data science and of course data modeling and prediction tools. Yeah. And we want to have one interface to all these three type of the data on and multiple technologies. And when you say and form your question using your voice or using your fingers typing, actually, and with the big data's task is simplify. Yeah. User input. Yeah. And to find the proper data, form it, and give it back. User or machines input, because the machines are also becoming rulers of the world, I would say.
Yes, yes. Now, talk to me. So there's an interesting word that you just used that you didn't use in your pitch. And that was that at some point in time, the ability for peak data to be able to help project, right? And I feel like there is, you know, sharing your big picture around where you think the business is going, and then stating why no one else is probably going to want to build this for themselves, right? When you think about most SaaS companies, right? To be able to build what you're building, okay? And then being able to work towards creating some sort of projection engine as well, okay? You know, that's modeling data. That's a very expensive thing.
Indeed, indeed. Right? And actually to create it.
Tell me about that. Tell me about because I feel like this needs, you know what I mean? Why should you exist? Do you know what I mean? And when we think about Silicon Valley investment, it's not about what you've done, it's where you're going and where you want to end up. And I feel like there's an interesting thought process, if you're trying to get Silicon Valley VC money, it's about how do you drive a certain level of return, but what's the home run? And I think this is something interesting, right? Being able to leverage the data and eventually create models that are going to help project. And we know, for instance, that, in today's weird market, wouldn't it be amazing if people could look at their data over the last 2 years and look at kind of data around where the economy is going and all these other smart elements and be able to project how much money they're going to make, right? Humans suck at projecting. Do you know what I mean? At least from what I've heard, right?
That's correct.
So talk to me about that, because I think that's a really powerful element.
Well, when we talk about the projection, so basically it's maybe not the same idea as you are right now expressed, because the big data is a gateway to the projected data. However, big data can produce very interesting results, because when you're conforming the question to the big data to find the data somewhere, actually you leave your footprints about what data you were asking.
Yeah.
And when you getting, so it means big data can also work and serve as like a Google search, which gives you and suggests what data you would like actually to use to find, but it doesn't limit you, which is important. And using the big data, you can achieve absolutely the same experience, but based on the data. So it means this component can be built in the many tools like chat boxes.
Understood.
And when we talk about the projection, so yes, we can actually, with a very small changes in the system, suggest to customer what he needs to, maybe he wants to ask.
Yes. Got it. So how much money are you looking to raise? How much are you?
$500,000 at least.
$500,000. $500,000 to expand to the United States. Okay. At least, right? Just for your, okay. We'll talk a little bit about that during the Hyper Accelerator. You might need a little bit more money, but let me take a stab, and I'm going to, would you like me to pitch your idea? Would you like me to pitch your idea back to you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, I'm going to focus in on this, right? But what I'm going to do is I want this to be more of a hustler's pitch. I don't want to spend too much time getting into too much of the technology. I want to talk about the big picture, where the world's going. Now, before I start, I have one last question. Tell me about your market traction. How many SaaS companies have tested your platform? Tell me a little bit about that, just to kind of know where you're starting from.
Well, initial idea of the big data was created when we were actually facing similar problems in my past as a developer, because I'm in the database, let's say, engineer in my background.
Yes.
And we found the form how we can resolve actually this data access to the different technologies. And when we were looking into similar technologies used, so first I mentioned before, it's about 30,000 SaaS companies in the world only. However, if we look to the similar API frameworks which are used to get the data in and out from the system, somewhere, we see at least 15 million downloads of such frameworks. It gives us actually a feeling that we can actually do better.
Okay.
Do better because our framework is much more easier. It doesn't require so much effort to use it and to give a lot of features to the customers at once.
Yes.
So we are moving to the less code paradigm in the future.
Got it. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so let's give it a go. You can introduce yourself, and I will pitch the Peak Data platform now. Okay.
Hello, Ash. My name is Dionizas. I'm a rich guy who loves the technology, and I am first time here just to listen you about your wonderful project and what you need
Excellent.
to make it better.
Thank you very much, sir, and a pleasure to talk to you a little bit about the Peak Data Platform. As you know, software is taking over the world. We have SaaS platforms around the world that are igniting and powering all sorts of businesses around the world. But one area where these platforms fall flat is in the data and reporting. Right? You use the software, it does the software well, but when you go to the back end and you look at the dashboard, it's kind of flat. And so what we have done is we have decided that we want to power the next generation back-end tools that enable SaaS customers to be able to understand their data, input and create their own dashboards, and provide a much richer experience. This is going to allow customers to be more engaged. It's going to help improve lifetime value and lower churn, because we are going to be able to provide these insights. And our vision is to be able to create a smart backend solution, leveraging the team that we've developed in order for us to be able to drive real-time insights, allow SaaS users to be able to project in the future, and do all sorts of amazing modeling in order for us to ensure that people stick with the software that we're using. We've discovered that most SaaS companies probably can't even afford to do this if they wanted to, and it's actually not their focus, but it should be. We're looking to raise $500,000 to take our framework and drive and build this in the United States. We have a successful team of hackers. We need a team of hustlers and hipsters that are going to help make this a reality. We're looking for $500,000 in investment. Thank you.
Thank you, Ash.
Okay.
I'm looking for my wallet, actually.
How was that? Did that make sense? Did I?
Yes, actually, I got an idea. I will look to recording several times, actually, to get insights. Thank you very much, Ash.
No problem. Anything that comes from, again, what I do is nothing special. Okay. All I'm doing is I'm listening intently to you. Okay. In terms of what I think you're trying to say to the universe, but you're more of a hacker. So my job, if you're selling is more of a hustler's job. So I am trying to transform what you're saying and just apply it, translate it into what a VC investor might be interested in. That's the goal. So you can copy, do whatever you want, right? Copy whatever I've said. It's completely, my goal is to help you, right? And let the universe see, but more importantly, let's align the perspectives, right? There's insights and powerful words where the VC will turn around and be like, you want to help people project? Really? Okay, let's have a coffee. Tell me about how you want to do that. Do you know what I mean? You want to get some of those hooks. Like, well, really? And I feel like what you're working on, what's powerful for me is the fact that I don't think most SaaS companies are going to want to build this themselves. I just don't think they're not built that way. They're built in a different structure for them to provide a service. They almost always fall flat. And I'm not talking about small SaaS, even the billion-dollar valuation SaaS companies. They're just not doing enough. So I think that there's some real value with what you're doing. So I want to thank you again for joining. Hopefully I'm glad you found value and look forward to the next phase of the Hyper Accelerator for you, sir. Have a wonderful day. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Cheers.
Cheers.